welcome to another episode of Motorboating with Mammeries. This is Tanks for the Mammeries playing World of Warships closed beta test. Yesterday I was able to put up an update on some new patch notes that were coming out for 3.1.5, and I thought that what I would do now, I got some feedback. It's kind of boring reading the patch notes, but I do want to get the information out there to you, and I'm sorry there's not like unicorns in the background or other things going on, but because this information is fresh, I want to get it out there to you guys as quickly as possible, to as many people as possible, so you sort of know what's coming. So I don't have any fancy gameplay saved or anything like that, so I'll try not to pull a Randy Quaid screaming at the internet right now, but basically we had a patch that came out today, which is June 18th. It came out this morning about 7:30 East Coast time US, and for the most part it looks like it was pretty standard with what they said it was going to be. So right after that today they've released a whole series of new notes on a new update which is coming, and I thought that I would give you the details on that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The update is called 4.0, and there will be a common test for all closed beta test participants starting this weekend, tomorrow on June 19th, and will run until June 21st. So happy Father's Day, guys. To all you dads out there, you are getting the common test for patch 4.0. You will have to go to the World of Warships North American webpage and download the test client. Make sure that when you do download the test client that you download it into a different file somewhere other than where you have your regular gameplay client on your computer. But you can download the new common test client for update 4.0 and play it over the weekend starting on June 19th until June 21st. So long as you have access to the World of Warships closed beta test, you're going to be able to log in to the game client, the test client, with your regular closed beta test credentials. So you use your regular name and password once you download the new client, and you'll be right into the game. Also, you'll find some additional resources given to you on the test client. You will have 10,000 doubloons if you have a pre-order bundle, or 5,000 doubloons if you do not. So if you've already purchased a bundle on the game, you'll get 10,000 doubloons. If you, this is only in the update 4.0 test client server. It does not translate over to your regular account when you come back. It's only in that server there. Now the patch 4.0 is a pretty big one, and I have found some different things between what's being posted on the US website, what was posted on the European website, and what was posted originally on the Russian website. So what I'm going to try and do is mix some of this up, because the Russian one had some translation. And on the forums, I'd like to thank Magic Cat and Fog Carrier Shikaku for the Russian translation from the Russian forums to the American forums. And there's some information missing on the World of Warships website page. So as I go through the World of Warships information for the North American server, I will try to find the spots to add in the information on the that came out of the European and Russian servers as well. So it may or may not all be in this update, but this is what they wanted to do. Whether or not it all got in there or not, I don't know. So because this version is under development, the information provided in the bulletin is conditional and reflects the state of the prototype at the time of publication. Some changes and innovations may be absent or implemented in other fashions by the time the game goes live. Screenshots, specifications, and details for in-game mechanics may not be accurate by the time the version is released. We have intentionally omitted all minor changes and updates of various game aspects from the bulletin. They will appear in the version release notes, the patch notes. So in other words, standard caveats apply. This is what they want to do. This is what they're going to test in the test client. When they actually send the patch live, it may or may not be in there, but they're going to try. So let's go through what it is that they're talking about having. So let's see. It says during the testing period, ship's consumables have proven to be an important part of gameplay. By using timely utilization of all the capabilities of a ship, such as the damage control party or defensive anti-aircraft fire, a player can get the upper hand against enemy vessels and even influence the outcome of the whole battle. Consumables largely determine the tactics of every ship type. This is true. It's hard to imagine destroyers without a smokescreen or battleships unable to repair themselves on the move. So, for example, the destroyers get the consumables and let's go to a destroyer here real quick. Granyashi, there we go. Okay, the first big change in this new patch is going to be consumables. And they're going to change the way that consumables work and what kind of consumables there are. So, reading to you from the patch notes, or the update notes, during the testing period, ships' consumables have proven to be an important part of gameplay. By timely utilization of all the capabilities of a ship, such as damage control party, defensive anti-aircraft fire, a player can get the upper hand against an enemy vessel and even influence the outcome of the entire battle. Consumables largely determine the tactics of each ship type. It's hard to imagine destroyers without a smokescreen or a battleship unable to repair themselves on the move. Now, in Update 4.0, consumables will be arranged in a way similar to the upgrades menu. Each ship will have up to 4 slots, and the player will be able to choose what consumables to install in those slots. So far, according to what they're saying in this open test for the 4.0 upgrade, the cruiser is the only one that can boast a vast range of consumables, but they are going to do additional development. They're saying we'll keep developing the feature, but even after making their choice, players will still have something to consider. Not really sure what that means necessarily. Also in Update 4.0, according to both the North American website notes and the Russian notes, Update 4.0 introduces one more upgraded version of each type of consumable. Unlike the standard consumables, the upgraded consumables are not free and will be required to be resupplied between battles. The advantage is that all upgraded consumables enjoy a shorter cooldown time, allowing experienced players to play to the maximum of their potential, or to give beginning players a chance to avoid paying dearly for their mistakes. Also, apparently, if you do not use it in battle and the battle ends, you will still need to resupply it for the next fight. So it's not like in World of Tanks, if you don't use a repair kit, it's still on your vehicle and everything's good to go. Literally every time you go to battle, you're going to have to resupply that, call it upgraded consumable, before you get into the next fight. Alright, another big change that's coming up is the role of catapult launch reconnaissance aircraft in the game. And basically the website says anybody who thinks that reconnaissance aircraft should get a nice buff, raise your hand. Obviously, there's been a lot of players talking for a very long time about the role and responsibilities of catapult launch reconnaissance aircraft off of cruisers and battleships. Well, people were saying they're stuck too close to the ship. They don't really do anything to help. I mean, some minimal maybe availability to spot ships a little closer, but not really what they were designed for. So World of Warships is making some changes to this, and what they're saying now is they're going to have 2 different types of reconnaissance aircraft, or 2 different types of reconnaissance aircraft. One will be spotting aircraft, and the other is going to be sort of a fighter aircraft. Both will be available for battleships, and the spotting aircraft will help extend the effective firing range of the main batteries of battleships, while cruisers will launch primarily the fighter type of reconnaissance aircraft. It's not going to be able to shoot down a whole lot, but what it will do is spoil any torpedo or bomber attack runs from torpedo and bomber squadrons launched by enemy carriers. So, let's see. While patrolling an area around a ship, a catapult-launched fighter will also attack approaching enemy aircraft. Of course, on its own, the plane will be unable to cause serious damage to a squadron of bomber or torpedo bombers, but it does have a good chance of making the strike less accurate and helping the ship survive the attack with fewer consequences. So that's good news. As for battleships, the new spotting aircraft, they will be able to fully utilize their ship's key advantage, which is the impressive main battery. Besides extending the effective firing range, the aircraft will enable players to take a better look at remote targets, much to the liking of those who prefer long-range fire. So finally, we're going to get what aircraft were originally designed to do, which was help spot ships beyond the visual horizon of, the fire control system on the actual battleship. So in addition to the changes mentioned above, 4.0 will introduce 2 brand new types of consumables for destroyers and cruisers, which will bring diversity to the gameplay and scale up those ships' roles in team battle. Destroyers will get what's called an engine boost, and for a certain period of time this consumable grants an increase in maximum speed as well as acceleration or stopping. It is up to you to decide whether to use engine boost to rush to the enemy base or to a torpedo launch position, or to save it in case you need to make a hasty retreat. Now this next one is going to cause a tremendous amount of trouble. It's for cruisers, and it's called Hydroacoustic Search. The Hydroacoustic Search will be available to cruisers, a versatile ship type. This consumer temporarily raises the maximum detection range of enemy torpedoes and ships. It enables early response to a threat, and it even allows the cruiser to see through the smoke screen. Players often call it X-ray vision. With increased warning of incoming torpedoes, allies will be able to avoid them, and the enemies that were detected despite their smoke will have to change their plans. So, if you have a cruiser with this skill on it, you will be able to see into destroyer smoke screens. I'm not sure how far away or how effective that is yet, but if you are a destroyer making an attack run and you put your smoke screen out there, guess what? It's not going to help you anymore if one of these cruisers has got this hydroacoustic search consumable, I guess, on board. So I'm not sure what I think about that one, but there you go. The next big thing is going to be camouflage. So we'll talk about camouflage here. More concealment capabilities. Most alpha testers are familiar with the in-game camouflage, which came together on the Iwaki Alpha, which was the gift ship that all of the alpha testers got for participation in the alpha test. Just as closed beta testers are going to get the Arkansas battleship as their gift ship for participating in the closed beta test if you have over 50 battles. But the Iwaki had camouflage, the Arkansas is going to have camouflage. And what they're going to do by introducing camouflage into the update 4.0, they're going to expand the concept of camouflage by introducing one type of spotted camouflage for closed beta participants. You will be able to apply this camouflage on any ship with varying patterns on vessels of different nations. This, so in other words, say the British ship may have one type of spotted camouflage, an American ship another type of spotted camouflage, and colors and patterns or whatever according to what nation ship you're using. A camouflage ship will get a bonus to her concealment properties in the battle, and the enemies firing at her will have a slightly reduced accuracy. So if you are using camouflage, your ship visibility detection range goes down, and if you are spotted, enemies that are shooting at you have an increase, I guess, in RNG in trying to hit you. So apparently your camouflage will make it more difficult for them to fire accurately on you. In the future, they will be adding different kinds of camouflage. And after testing the feature in Update 4.0, we will develop it further. There are plans to introduce many types of camouflage, including the dazzle patterns, as well as different ways of obtaining them. The next big thing is going to be improved and new commander skills. So, you know, we all have the commander skills. When you go in here and you look at one of these guys, he can, you know, get over time different skills to improve his play, like increased number of smoke, the ability to spot aircraft, or for aircraft to spot further out, the ability for you to improve your defensive fire, all these different things. Well, this whole screen is going to be changing. And I will be posting pictures of the changes that I've been able to verify at the end of this video. So anyway, stick around for that. But these are going to be some new skills coming in, as well as you know, some changes to the existing skills and possibly where they fit within this tree right here. So as usual, being able to train your commander is just another nice layer of customization that World of Warships is offering to the players in the game. And Update 4.0 will bring welcome changes and revisions to this feature based on our feedback. A number of irrelevant skills will be removed. For example, aerial reconnaissance, this one right here, is going away. And some other ones will be replaced. Of course, that's not all. They are going to introduce 7 new skills to spice up the skill tree and to make your choices further reflect your playstyle. And I think what they're doing is getting it to where, you know, destroyers will have more skills that they could get, and cruisers different skills that they can get, and that sort of stuff. So anyway, they're working on that. And one of the reasons they're getting rid of aerial reconnaissance, since detectability holds priority over view range, the demand for that skill just wasn't there. They're also going to remove skills whose scope of application is too limited. Smokescreen, defensive fire, and repair work will be replaced by Superintendent, which will be a level 3 skill that allows additional activations of all consumables. So in other words, this right here, this smokescreen, this will go away. Okay, that one right there, yeah, and defensive fire. So these are all going to go away and be replaced with one main perk called Superintendent, because it will then allow you to activate any of those depending on what ship you're on. The highly popular situational awareness skill will be moved from here down to here, while the fire prevention will go to level 2. So fire prevention will move down here to this level, and situational awareness will move up and take its place. Dogfight will become a level cheaper. This will actually move from tier 4 to tier 3. While high alert, on the other hand, will move up to tier 3 as well. They're going to do more than just simple tier adjustments and things like that. Besides Superintendent, 7 new skills will be added to the tree, and I have a list of those skills, so I'll read those off to you specifically. And again, let me make note that this could change. Caveat all of this by saying that World of Warships could change, you know, change this at any time based on feedback of the test. So in addition to the skills that we have here on the commander skills, here are the new ones. First skill that I'm aware of that's being added to the game is called Expert Loader, and it's going to be at level 1. And it says, according to this, it says, reduces the time required for the main battery to switch from high explosive to armor-piercing shells and vice versa when all the guns are already loaded. So in other words, if you've got, you know, your main batteries are already filled up with armor-piercing and you really want to, you know, switch out to AP, or from AP to HE, Expert Loader reduces the time to change the type of shell between firings. The next one is Expert Rear Gunner, and this is also a level 1 skill for aircraft carriers. It enhances the performance of the rear gunner that are available in certain types of aircraft. So if you are a battleship with a scout aircraft that has a rear gunner in it, like on the Kingfisher, or you are in a dive bomber or torpedo bombers on aircraft carriers, having this skill will increase the defensive fire of the rear gunner on whatever that aircraft is. The next skill, which is at level 2, which will be here somewhere, is Incoming Fire Alert. This turns on an alert indicator when an enemy main battery has fired a shot at you from long range. So it's sort of like the kind of like the spotted skill, but it would be like in World of Tanks if you got a notice when artillery was aiming at you and fired a shot. So this is sort of basically that. It's Incoming Fire Alert, which turns on the alert indicator when an enemy main battery has fired a shot at you from long range. The next one, also at level 2 here, will be manual control. It enables a player to manually specify an attack area for carrier-borne attack squadrons. So, not too sure about what that is specifically, but maybe it is to allow you to not have to aim at a specific ship, but just somewhere on the map, and hope that a ship blunders through there as an ambush or something. But it says, again, manual control enables a player to manually specify an attack area for carrier-borne attack squadrons. That's a level 2. The next one is level 4, so it's going to be down here, and it's called With Last Stand. When the engine room and steering gear receive critical damage, they continue to operate with reduced performance. So instead of it going out, if you have this consumable or this perk for your captain, then it will not be totally knocked out. You will be able to use it with reduced efficiency. Last Chance, which is down here at level 5, decreases reload time of all armament and squadrons when few combat capability options are left. So, Last Chance, it's basically speeding up your reload time of all armaments and squadrons. So, World of Tanks has got something similar. It's when you're down to your last 10% of your health or whatever, your gunner's able to load the gun faster. I guess, same sort of thing. Also at level 5 will be something called Preventative Maintenance. Preventative Maintenance reduces the risk of critical damage to all main modules, which is the engine room, steering gear, main battery, and torpedo tubes. So if you have Preventative Maintenance as one of your captain's perks down here, it reduces the risk of critical damage to any of your main module components. As I said, the engine room, steering gear, main battery, torpedo tubes. So that's the big deal with the crew skills and things like that. Moving on to the next part of the update is a new map. Alright, so there's a new map called Two Brothers. It's going to be added to the game. It contains a group of islands resembling the northwestern coastal waters of the UK. So that would be sort of Ireland, above Wales and Scotland, things like that. So the location central element is its 2 islands divided by a strait. There will be a photograph posted of this at the end of the video for you to take a look at. You'll be able to play this map from tiers 6 to 10 in 2 different modes. It'll be standard battle mode and domination mode. So in tiers 6 through 10, you can play this new map, Two Brothers, in standard battle and domination mode. Also, something that you'll note in the patch 4.0 is several premium ships will be added to the game for limited testing. You will probably not get these yourself, but you might see them in battle. The most renowned is going to be the battleship Mikasa, which took part in the legendary Battle of Tsushima Straits. This is back when the Japanese and the Russians had their fight in the early 1900s. I think it was 1904. There was a battle of Tsushima where everybody who was going to bet on this would have said the Russians were going to take it. They supposedly had the better ships, and the Japanese came along and really smoked them pretty hard, and which really sort of got the world to notice that the Japanese were an up-and-coming naval power. So the Battle of the Tsushima Straits was where the Imperial Russian Navy got smoked, and the Japanese Navy sort of became a recognized world naval power. Anyway, I think also that Admiral Yamamoto lost a finger or something in that battle. He was a young naval officer and was in that battle, and I think that's where he lost a finger. In World of Warships, the Mikasa will become the first battleship available at Tier 2. So, as we all know, the first time battleships are available is at Tier 3. The Mikasa is coming along to be the first battleship available at Tier 2. Her key advantages are relatively powerful main battery, high explosive shells, thick armor, and very good accuracy on her main battery. She will also get very favorable matchmaking being at Tier 2. So it's going to be something where Tier 2 ships are going to have to learn to either gang up on her or torpedo her, because she's got some pretty good main battery, and it's supposed to be very accurate. For many low-tiered ships, meeting a battleship with a repair party can lead to fatal consequences. Mikasa can also boast an impressive secondary armament of 14 6-inch guns and 20 3-inch guns, which will be tough on destroyers. So, on the other hand, the ship is pretty old, and it has very poor mobility, very weak armor-piercing shells, and a very low effective firing range. So, it's basically like a heavier armored and armed St. Louis. So, you know, it's going to be slow. It's not going to turn all that great. It's not going to have a tremendous amount of distance on its guns, but it does have a lot of guns. So, you know, that's going to be a big deal on that ship. Okay, so some other notes that were not on the American webpage regarding this new update 4.0. So whether it's actually going to be in there or not, I don't know yet, but these were notes that came out of the Russian server, so for you guys to be aware of it. So, the Katori is the first ship on the Japanese tech tree, and World of Warships is saying that even since they've taken off the seaplane catapult and getting rid of the aircraft on there, the catapult and the aircraft, that they still think that the ship is too modern looking for being the first ship on the Japanese tech tree. So they are going to remove the Katori from the game now, so there will be a new ship that takes its place called the Hashidate. I believe that's what it's called. So they're saying that they're taking the Katori out and replacing it with the Hashidate, which is, along with its sister ship Uji, a gunboat with universal artillery built in 1939 to 1941 as part of the third program of fleet replacement. During the war, the Hashidate and Uji were engaged in escorting gunboats patrolling the coasts and estuary of China. The Hashidate was sunk by an American submarine, and the surviving Uji lasted through the war and was handed over to the People's Republic of China for reparations. So the Katori is going away, the Hashidate, at least that's what it says, and the Uji will be coming to the game as the Tier 1 ship. They were gunboats during the Second World War. The Hashidate was destroyed by an American submarine. Uji survived, was handed over to China as war reparations. Next thing is, which is also not on the American notes, is some changes to the Japanese tech tree line for battleships. The let's see, the Miyogi here is going to be significantly changed. It will be receiving a completely different hull. I will have a photograph of the new Miyogi for you at the end of this video, but the Miyogi is going to receive a new late hull design, and we'll have a Japanese pagoda to replace this little thing. There'll be a pagoda that comes up here, which will also give it improved fire control system, and it will be able to shoot at a much longer distance than it does now. So this 13.9 will probably go up to 15, 16, maybe 17 kilometers. There will also be a new Congo battlecruiser hull, which will, let me go back to the tech tree. There will be a new hull for the Congo, which is the 1918 hull, as well as the Fuso. So it looks like a lot of Japanese battleships are getting new hulls. So from what I can tell here, the Miyogi, the Congo, the Fuso, the Nagato, and the Amagi are all getting new types of hulls. Whether they're new hulls or old hulls, whether 1980 model, 1929 model, 1919 model, I don't know, but there will be new hulls for the Congo, the Fuso, the Nagato, and the Amagi. So those are big deals. Now, another big issue that is not in the notes here that is supposed to be coming out in this next patch in the US tech tree is that we are supposed to be seeing the USS Midway as the Tier 10 U.S. aircraft carrier. So the USS Midway should be coming in as the U.S. Tier 10 aircraft carrier. The mighty Midway had advanced air defense and will be coming with the McDonnell Douglas F-2H Banshee. So and the A-2D, I guess Sky Shark torpedo bomber. So Douglas A-2D. I think it's actually supposed to be Skyhawk, not Sky Shark. But anyway, so the F-2H Banshee from McDonnell Douglas and the Douglas A-2D Sky Raider, whatever it is, torpedo aircraft. So those will be coming as the top line aircraft on the Tier 10 Midway. So I can't believe it, but that's what they're saying. So we're going to see jet aircraft and yeah, going up against the Japanese Tier 10 aircraft carrier. I'm not sure what I think about that. But anyway, I don't have any photos of that, but I'm sure there's some Midway pictures out there. So that's it for the different ship types. Next thing, there should be some changes to the interface. From what I understand, some nice interface changes will affect the game. In particular, the update will be the first version of the expected Players Notification Center, which maintains reports about the battles and operations on the account within the same session. So, like in World of Tanks, down there at the bottom corner, over there, once you're finished with the battle, you can click the little button and it'll pull up the thing and it'll have your score on there. And for your entire session, you know, it'll be on your there when you click on the lower right-hand corner. Also in the battle, when you hover over icons, shells, torpedoes, and equipment, tooltips will pop up with brief information about them. And another good news for fans of large amounts of data, displays of additional data about the players in battle, which is now assigned to the Alt key, can now be enabled by default. So for those of us who like to be able to have the ship names and all that stuff on the screen over each of the ships that we're playing against, and you have to hold the Alt button down to see all that, you can actually now in the menu be able to change that so that it is on the screen at all times. Thank you. That's good stuff. I like that. The next thing is that they are going to have a complement and reporting system on this new 4.0 patch. And you know, they introduced the anti-team kill system, I guess, a patch ago, 2 patches ago, and this is a follow-on to that. So the US website briefly says the update 4.0 also follows up on an introduction of the anti-team kill system with a compliments and reports feature that will allow you to thank another player for good play, as well as report any unsportsmanlike or toxic behavior in case of conflict. It's a little bit more than that, actually. In this next patch, it'll have some other functionality. Right in the battle, you can thank another player for a good game or timely assistance. And in a conflict situation, you can send a complaint for unsportsmanlike conduct. The number of available complaints and commendations will be limited, but the base will be replenished daily. Functionality in the future, more will be set up and may grow into a system of karma. They expect that there's probably going to be a drop-down menu of the number of compliments that you can give and the number of complaints that you can make, and you're only limited to a certain number each day, I guess, and at the end of the day, sort of the next day, it resupplies. So you can't just completely spam the system all the time about bitching about other players. But anyway, that's coming. So the last big thing I really have is sound. There's supposed to be general improvements in the sound, both in interface as well as in the firing of guns. Players will be able to assess renewed sounds of traffic of ships and aircraft, so they're supposed to be changing how that sound goes by, I guess. They're working on making better audio quality in the game. And besides dub changes in this version, they expect to have more minor changes and adjustments in the future. And the sound engine will be optimized for overall performance improvements in the game. So that is that's the majority of what I was able to come up with this. I'd definitely like to thank Magic Cat and Fog Carrier Shikaku for coming up with the Russian translation. As I said, the American site doesn't have near as much detail and information, so again, I realize this is not the most interesting thing in the world to bring to you guys. Me sitting here on the screen just talking to you, but look at it like a nightly newscast for World of Warships. And I hope that the information I provided is more detailed than what you found on the North American World of Websites webpage. The last thing I would say about this is that there's a cutoff date for having access to the common test server of June 10th, which means that if you did not have access to closed beta World of Warships by June 10th, you will not have access to the common test for 4.0. So if you joined World of Warships day before yesterday, and then you think you're going to be able to go download this new common test server to play this 4.0 update, you will not be able to do it. You had to be a member of closed beta testing in World of Warships before June 10th to have access to the common test server. Anyway, and I think that's more a function of making sure they got everybody's passwords and stuff switched over to the new server than it is that they don't want you to be involved in it. But that's the update. I do appreciate your time. Thank you very much for watching or for listening to this in the background. Again, my apologies for, sitting here a talking head on the computer screen, but I wanted to get this information out to you guys as soon as possible. The more of you that do get into the common test this coming weekend, starting tomorrow, running through the 21st, the better off we're all going to be, and provide your feedback to World of Warships in the forums. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate your time. And again, stick around the end of the video. I will be having photographs of the different features as I've been able to find them that are coming out in this next patch. So thanks very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video and subscribe to my channel. I really would appreciate the support. Thanks very much. Take care.